Hello everybody, my name is Heather and welcome back to my channel. Last week I posted my most disappointing books of 2016, which, you know, it's kind of a downer for some people, but you guys seem to like those controversial videos. I like them too. But I'm going to kind of, you know, lighten it up with this video. These are my top 10 books of 2016. Some of them did come out in 2016, but many of them I just read in 2016 and I really freaking loved them. They're not going to be in any order, except I am putting my favorite, just absolutely top book of 2016 at the end. So that probably won't be a surprise, by the way. You can guess it now in the comments. I'm going to start with two audiobooks because they're obviously like not in front of me and I feel like I'll forget them if I don't say them now. The first one is The Martian by Andy Weir. This book was recommended to me by many booktubers, not like personally recommended to me, but obviously a ton of people talked about it. I don't think it came out this year. I think it came out in 2015. Correct me if I'm wrong. I did not fact check before filming this. Mainly it was recommended to me by my best friend Rachel, who has great taste in books. She's the one who recommended Outlander to me, so I trust her very much. So The Martian, if you don't know, follows an astronaut whose name I can't remember because I'm so bad with names. I want to say Mark. It follows our main character who has been stranded on Mars by his crew, and it's so crazy because you're like, he's totally gonna die. So you're following him and his struggles to survive on Mars in hopes that he will be rescued. So it was amazing. I loved it as an audiobook. I feel like the narration was spot on. The next audiobook and last audiobook in this list is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. This is a nonfiction kind of self-help book, but I don't really see it as a self-help book. It's really a great book for anyone who is creatively inclined, and it's really motivating if you are kind of facing this prospect of starting a creative project, whether that's writing a book or you know, you want to be a professional actor or I don't know, like any sort of creative thing. And she just talks about how she gets inspired, what is inspiration, what is creativity, what is that magical essence that makes humans create beautiful things. And it's just lovely. I love listening to it. I'm pretty sure I listened to it like at least twice this year. Number 3 is Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. I adored this book. I love that Susan Dennard just throws you into this world where you have a ton of different witches. You follow Safi, who is a truth witch, and Isolde, who is a thread witch. And truth witches can tell whether people are telling the truth or not, and they're actually really rare. And then thread witches can see the threads that bind people together. But you've got this amazing female friendship, and then there's so much action and adventure. You even have like, you know, they're on a ship at one point and there's like a little bit of romance and like hinting at even more romance to come. Sarah J. Maas blurbs it right here. It's just really great. It's such a fun ride. And Wind Witch, which is the second book in the series, is coming out in January, and I've already pre-ordered it and I am so excited. Next, we have a nonfiction, and that is Bloom, Navigating Life and Style by Estee Lalonde, who is one of my favorite YouTubers, and this is a beautifully constructed book. The rubbery matte finish down here, and then this like textured fabric-y finish up here. It's all like metallic on the spine, and then it was such a fast read because the margins are so big, but it's kind of like minimalistic in a way and gorgeous. The sections have different colored pages. You've got like beautiful images. I just really loved this book, and I feel like I can connect to Estee a lot as a person. We're very similar in age. We just have very similar interests. So when I read this, I was like, this is so great. Like, I just look up to her so much, and it was so inspiring to read a little bit about her life. Next is a book I feel like I haven't really talked about much besides in a wrap-up, because I haven't even hauled it yet. I need to haul it. And that is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. Probably butchered her last name, but this is a book of poetry, and it's such like relevant contemporary poetry that's so like feminist and amazing, and there are little like drawings and different like sections. There's, let me read the sections to you, because it almost sort of tells a story. There's the hurting, the loving, the breaking, and the healing. And it's beautiful. You've got poems about sexual assault. You've got poems about sex, separate from assault, just like sex when you love someone. You have poetry about feminism, and I think there's like poems about like a poem like about body hair and about breaking up, and I don't know, it's just so wonderful. Here, I'll just read this one. It's really short, but it's about masturbation. I am learning how to love him by loving myself. Let's see. Yep, there you go. Is this gonna get flagged? I don't know, there's no nipples, because nipples are the devil apparently. This is definitely one that will be reread very quickly, and I'm gonna tab it all up. All my favorite poems. Next we have a book I read at like smack dab the beginning of the year, and that is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. This is a book I actually repurchased in hardcover because of how much I loved it, and I wanted it to match the second book, which is The Mime Order. So this is a book that's best gone into knowing not much about it, but you do follow our main character Paige, who is a clairvoyant, but there are different types of clairvoyance. She can see spirits all around her. She can kind of manipulate them too. And this is a world, this is like London, futuristic London, where being a clairvoyant is a crime. So she kind of works for this like crime syndicate and everything, but I don't know, it's pretty dangerous to be in that situation. But this book takes off and goes in a totally different direction than you expect. It's amazing. Like, it's so unexpected, and it left off on such a great cliffhanger that I am so shocked I have not picked up my copy of The Mime Order and started reading. I'm getting myself excited to read that book. I need to read it. Underrated. I don't hear enough about this on BookTube. I highly recommend it. Next we have a book that is just fan-freaking-tastic, and the sequel came out in October and I need to freaking read it. Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This, as you may well know, is a collection of files, the Illuminate Files, and it's just so fast-paced. The characters, you connect to them so well, considering that it's not told in like your regular narrative format. You connect to them so much, and you're worried about them, and you're like, oh my god, everyone's gonna die. And one of my favorite female protagonists is Katie. The next book is Landline by Rainbow Rowell. This is an adult Rainbow Rowell book. It's very, very short. I absolutely adored it. There's a character in here named Heather who is awesome, so I really enjoyed that. But it's about a woman who is having marital problems, and she discovers this phone at her parents' house that is actually able to reach her husband from back when they were like dating, like before they had gotten married. And so there's that magical realism aspect to it, and it's just so beautiful. And as a married person, I really, really liked this, and I liked reading Rainbow Rowell's opinion on love. And I think I did tab something, and I don't really tab books up very often. The quote that I tabbed is from Georgie, who is the main character, and she's talking to her little sister, because her little sister's like, well, how can I marry someone? Like, it's so scary to put yourself in that situation because you never know if the love is gonna last. Georgie says, it's like you're tossing a ball between you and you're just hoping you can keep it in the air. It has nothing to do with whether you love each other or not. If you didn't love each other, you wouldn't be playing this stupid game with the ball. You love each other and you just hope you can keep the ball in play. I read that part and I'm like, oh my god, that's exactly it. The second to last book is You by Carolyn Kepnes. Totally out of my comfort zone, and it blew me away. I was reading this and I was like, this is so fucked up in the best possible way. Joe Goldberg is like, what? He's so messed up. He's a stalker, and this book is from his perspective, and he is talking to the girl that he is stalking. Like, that's how this book is written. Like, I was following you, I watched you in your window, and blah 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 blah. And it's just, at first it seems really innocent, and then it like gets really bad. I don't know. It's so good. It's so good. And shocker, 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 my favorite book I read in 2016, A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas. This book is huge, okay? Especially compared to the first one. This book is massive, and I read it in like 2 days because I could not put it down. I think I put it down because I had to go to work. And then I got home from work and I finished it. Like, I loved it so much. The first one I remember really liking, and I read that one really fast too. But when I finished it, it didn't like leave me thinking about it for days and days and days. This book, I finished it and I'm just like, oh my God. I kept thinking about it, and I just like fantasized so hardcore about Rysand, and that doesn't happen to me very much anymore. Like, it used to happen a lot when I was a teenager, where I'd be like, oh my God, fictional boy, he's so cute, and I would like imagine him in my bed, you know, but like that doesn't really happen that often because I do have a man in my bed who I love. But like, Rysand, come on, can we just, I can't. I need to stop because I'm a married woman. I am so excited that 2016 is ending because that means 2017 is going to be here soon when the third book, what is it, A Court of Wings and Ruin, is coming out. Yeah, I'm so happy. Okay, I gotta stop. I gotta stop. Those are my top 10 books that I read in 2016. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure and give it a thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments if you read any of these books and if they are in your top 10, or what books are in your top 10 books that you read in 2016. I would love to know. If you like me and you like my energy and my vibe and my taste in books, if you feel like we're similar, or, you know, whatever, you could subscribe, but you don't have to. No pressure. No pressure. Sorry for the Miranda. Sometimes she comes out, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.